Hey there, record loving friend. It's Brian from tokyorecordstyle. On my morning commute from dropping my kids off, heading home, I do a daily, semi daily, mostly daily live stream for about 40 minutes to an hour every day for a kind of a close knit group of homies, small but mighty group of people who have coalesced under like the pretenses of good vibrations. And yeah, I just have a little bit of stream of consciousness time every morning that I get to take my kids to school. And it's an opportunity for me to just riff. It kind of feels like half for me, for a future version of me journal entry, video journal entry, and also uh background noise for anybody who's like washing the dishes or walking the dog and just is looking for something to tune into. And sort of housekeeping for a Discord that I work hard to maintain and cultivate along with the help of these said homies. So I just thought for the hell of it I'd do a live one today. Hadn't done do a public one today, not because I had anything extra particular to talk about or any especially interesting things to riff on, but just for the hell of it. Hey, James Farley. Hey there, Mark Glassman. Good to see you guys. Just watching while sitting in the dry sauna. Oh, nice. Dry sauna. Very nice. Okay, I'm sitting here at the stoplight. I'm going to just cruise back home. It's a Thursday morning in Tokyo. Beautiful sunshine. I think it's meant to rain today. Oh, nice move there, buddy. And yeah, what can I tell you? Well, first of all, it's a little bit about, music. It's a lot about music. This daily stream is. It's mostly about music, but it's also about life and about family and Tokyo and uh, just what's happening in my world. Parenting. Today's parenting, two kind of fun parenting things kind of came to be. My kids wake up. I have two kids. They're two teenage kids, and they go to different schools on kind of opposite sides of town, and I have to kind of get them up and going every morning and get them off to school, and because their mom kind of takes care of when they get back home. So this is my it's a wonderful opportunity to be able to get to wake up with them. And as I was sending my daughter off today, she's in high school. It like occurred to me like, oh my God, there's only a few more years of this, and then this is gone. There's only a few more years of me walking to the door and saying, all right, sweetie, have a good day. Love you. Tele shy. Did you forget anything? You might need an umbrella today. And then that's just gonna be gone, and it's so sad. It's just heartbreaking to think it's gonna be over. I hope they never marry, and I hope they never move away from home. But boy, savor it while you can, right? My mom always said like she had 5 kids, and she's like, you get them for a spell, and then they're gone in the blink of an eye. And with my other one, I just drove him to school, and we were listening to this CD in the car this morning. I'm a big CD car guy, car CD, listening to CDs in the car guy. And this was a cool bootleg that came out. It's so funny. We were talking about Ween yesterday on the live stream because suddenly everybody's like interested in Ween because, finally everybody understands that their records are expensive and valuable. That's the charge. That now that, people have been saying that you should check him out. You should check him out. It was like, who's this weird? I can't even be bothered. We were talking about this the other day, and now there's these hipsters, and we talked about hipsters. These hipsters like Ween or whatever. But I loved Ween forever, and I mean, I don't go all the way back, but I go back as far as I can remember, and those that Quebec and White Pepper got re-released in the last few months. And I think a lot of people who would normally get their records got them, and they're showing them off in the backgrounds of their videos. One of them is this one. It'll be backwards for you guys, but it's sitting back on people's walls, and I've seen it like 3 or 4 times out on like very unlikely streams. Um, and then there was that Ween and Aaron Freeman Record Store Day release for the last Record Store Day, which I was chasing around, and a few others were as well. And it's cool. I'm happy that people are interested. But this one actually came out with the recent re-release of White Pepper and Quebec, which I already have on vinyl. But this is, yeah, Bring Out the Foos live in 1996, and it's like a compilation of different songs from different venues from different nights of a tour, kind of feels like one show, but it's actually like 12 or 20 different shows: Salt Lake, San Francisco, Santa Barbara, etc. And I forgot what tune we were listening to, but on the way here, my son, who's kind of more of a hip hop guy and like a J-pop guy, and neither of my kids really have that much interest in my records or my music. They have some, but we're a very, very musical family. Everybody loves music, like lives their lives by music, but we all love different music, kind of. Dad likes everything, but mom has her thing that she likes, and my daughter has her thing. And my son, he's a little bit lost at sea. He doesn't quite know what he likes yet, I think. But Diener was on a wicked ass solo, and he's like, dang, this guy's a good guitar player. I was like, yeah, nice. Nice. Yes, he is. Diener's just shredding some like Sold My Soul to Rock and Roll solo, very Neil Youngish. Da, 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 like it's good, but sloppy, very, very great and sloppy. So um that was nice. But yeah, yesterday I might as well put it out here that I'm speaking publicly. Um the joke was that the gag a couple of days ago was that something related to like hipsters and Ween. I kind of went off on it about it in a private conversation, but I'm I don't find the word hipster to be insulting. I find it to be a compliment. And that's because I probably assign it a different meaning than what is the popular meaning that everybody has for it. And I said a lot about it that I don't think I'll be able to like go back into every little detail and every little point and every little molehill that I was kind of dying on by it. But I don't see it as a pejorative. I kind of put it in the timeline of isms of hippies and nicks. I put it in terms of like beatniks and hippies and punks and yuppies and preppies and hipsters and hepcats, and kind of went down the line, and which of these were pejorative and which of them weren't, and did the beats like to be called beats, and where does the word beat come from, and where does the term hippie come from, and where does the term uh hipster come from. And I I kind of went off on this idea that The hipster, yes, okay, there's one sort of side product. It's almost like a like a side effect of the word hipster, which is this wax beard, wax wearing curly mustache with suspenders and like bespoke leather, boot, like firefighter boots or something. That's not hipster. And then there's this other idea that like hipster is like the guy who brings the typewriter and the record and portable record player to Starbucks and sits down and listens to records because he can hear the warmness of the vinyl, and working on it, and that's partly true. That's partly right. And I think people sling that around as if it's some kind of insult, but it's not. And I'm gonna plant a little pole right here and tell you that hipster is like the hipster is the person who, if you're living in a global context, is the person who went to um Mexico City before you did, who went to Japan before you, who was here, who was in Brooklyn before it was cool to be in Brooklyn, who, it used to be like, hip, but now it's overrun and is not hip anymore. But the proto hipsters, the meta hipsters, the people who were hipsters before there was a word for hipster were like trendsetters. They were the people who were like, and it's not that they were like innovators or groundbreakers, but it was that they were remixers of of their forefathers, of the forethought that came before them, whether that be the beatniks, the punks, the hippies, the preppies, or them. And you can easily see that in uh the music and pop culture of the 90s, I think, and of the late, or of the it wasn't until the word hipster, I don't think, came along until like the early 2000s. But the people who were like, look at the Chili Peppers, like, or the Beasties, or Delight, or Bjork, or Beck, or the Fugees, or Tribe, or yeah, there's a million examples. There's a million examples, but they were basically mashing up what I kind of thought I sort of hit the nail on the head yesterday, which was like the Beatles and the Ramones. Like Kurt Cobain, basically, he that was the next logical, or subliminally conceptualized merging of genres that, unintentionally, he, created a whole giant, not just musical vernacular, but an entire subculture out of. And I think hipster, it's like, I don't know, I hear it as like somebody who's ahead of the curve, who kind of saw pop culture, the next wave of pop culture, before pop culture saw it. And so when people say to me, not that they say this to me, but if they say you're a hipster, or you're some kind of hipster guy, I just kind of have to laugh at that, because I think what you're telling me is that I knew shit before you knew shit. You know? That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a compliment to me and not an insult. And hip, um yeah, we were just kind of talking about the etymology of this word. And like hip comes from hipster, has to come from hippie, I'm sure, and from being hip. And also and hip comes from hep. And beat probably also, is connected to that word hep. And hep comes from like jazz and like the coolest of the cool, you know? So I don't really Yuppie is the one that's a little bit of an outlier, but I wonder even if it is, because yuppie is like people really embrace yuppieism and preppyism. And preppyism has a aesthetic thing, and I like what I was saying was that like the Beats were sort of preoccupied with culture and literature and poetry and sociology, whereas the hippies might have been more superficial and associated more with like aesthetic and um an outward sort of superficial thing. And I don't know, I just want to take this word back. I want to reclaim this word. I think it's been appropriated. I think it's been wrongly, it's I think people have been wrong to use it as a derogatory, insulting yeah, slur. I don't hear it that way at all. And it's funny because it's like I was joking that the most hipster thing you will ever hear is that I was hipster before it was before you were hipster. I was hipster before there was even hipsters. It's like meta hipster. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of, yeah, plant my flag on this one. And I would encourage you to invite you to join me, you hipster. I invite you to join me as a fellow hipster and reclaim this word for those of us who, you know, grew up on hip hop and funk, and who, liked vintage clothes and analog cameras, and who merged, old tech and new tech, and saw the joy of riding on fixie bikes, or drinking specialty coffee, and slow pour over, like all this stuff. It's like I love it. Hey, Lionel Vinyl in the house, grass in the house. Okay, hold on. Oh, I missed some comments. Okay, Grass is here. What? When did that come out? Is there a vinyl? No, Grass. This ween is only on CD, but I didn't hear anybody talking about it. But it came out with White Pepper and the recent Quebec. Lionel Vinyl in the house. Okay, you got to appreciate those moments when your kids, as they are older. My son, 16, is trying to reject all my music, all of it. Oh, my heart goes out to you. Yeah, I mean, they say that the teenage angst is, biological programming to get to prevent inbreeding. It's all about being smarter than your parents. Is all about getting as far away from your tribe as you possibly can, so that you can so that you can sow your seed with genetically far away peoples. Hence, you have to reject everything your parents do. Yes, Jeremy, I know Jeremy. Yes, it's burned to memory now. Nice to hear from you, Jeremy. I hope all is well with you. Um, Wish I was still young enough to be a hipster. You're a hipster. I met you. I hung out with you. You're a hipster. You're a New Zealand hipster. Um, Speaking of Ween and New Zealand and hipsters, I think Flying Nun Records out of New Zealand was like one of they weren't the very first label to press Ween records, but they were among the first. It was on Grand Royale. It was on Mushroom Records in the UK. It was only on Grand Royale for a very short while, and it was also on Flying Nun Records. And a couple of the Ween records that I have are Flying Nun versions. And I think like some people love Flying Nun records, and some people bag on them that they're not like I don't know, the greatest quality. Mine sound great, but yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to like rehash that whole hipster thing, but I want to put that notion out there. We have to reclaim this word, fellow hipsters. We can't let them like have this word. It can't be like an insulting word, because it's not. It's like hepcat. It's like, how can hepcat be uncool? It's not. You know. Coltrane's a hep cat, you know, Dizzy and Bird and, you know, Monk. These are hep cat. Like, I want to be in their company, please. You know, Monk, forget about it. Was there anybody cooler than Monk? Thelonious Monk? What a name. Just a name. I love watching Monk play. I love how funky he was. Like how funky he was playing. How wrong he played. I love watching how wrong he played. I think like by conventional, you know, piano teacher standards. Um what else can I riff on this morning? I'm reading 4 books at the moment. I'm reading this record store day book by Jaffe. I forget his first name, something Jaffe. Very interesting about the history of record store day. I'm reading a book with my son called like Spirit Bear, which is really, really interesting. It's about a really troublemaker who he gets in big trouble with the law. He's young and he gets in big trouble, and they're debating whether or not he needs to be tried as an adult or not. And he applies for this alternative First Nations court, kind of this new experimental court called Circle Justice, where the uh, what's the word? The re what's the word? You know, the rehabilitation of people after rehabilitation of criminals is more about restoration and healing than it is like punitive and about punishment. Watch out, little guys, little pigeons flying out right in front of my car. And I just started Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451 with my daughter, and that seems really interesting. We've only read the first couple pages, but we read a long foreword by the author himself, and he wrote an interesting bit, sort of a almost as if it were. He talks about this notion of writing a story and getting asked by like fans of the story, like whatever came of the characters, and why did the author decide to make some decisions with characters and not others. And um in the aftermath of a writing such a story, how one might change their mind about how a story should end, and about the desire to go back and want to change things and make it, you know, make characters that die actually survive, and, you know, change the age of one character or make them a little wiser, or, you know, mix and mash things together that, you know, things that make the story better or more clear, but things that were only realized in hindsight after the book was published. But the you know, restraint and the temptation to do that, and the restraint that must be kept. And you look at somebody like George Lucas, who, you know, he went and changed all those movies, and you know, Han shot first, and then Greedo shot first, and then Han shot first again, and he just mucked up his own story, you know. So reading that, and then I started Patti Smith's audiobook, something like We Were Just Kids, or When We Were Kids. And wow, she's a great storyteller, but she's just telling the story of moving from, I've just started it, maybe I'm a third of the way into it, and she's talking about getting from New Jersey to New York City, and I think, and how she's just, or is it LA? Where did she go? She goes to New York City, yeah. And about meeting Robert Mapplethorpe, the famous photographer, and about how the two of them sort of were friends and lovers and fellow muses, it's really nice, and she reads it. It's an audiobook that she's reading, and it's nice to just hear her voice, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I have a feeling at the pace that it's going, it I don't know how many more characters we'll get besides Maplethorpe. So it might the whole book I didn't read the somebody suggested it to me. I didn't really read the synopsis of it, but maybe it's just about her and Maplethorpe. If you know, tell me, but it seems pretty good. And then yesterday I went to an exhibition that I made a little short video about yesterday. Just on a little walk around the block. I needed like a little moment to just get some fresh air, and there's a little bookstore by my office, and I just had a little stop, and at this little bookstore, it's kind of interesting. I've made a video about it on my channel. You can actually search for it if you're curious. It's called Shin Saka Bashi Bookstore. Shin Saka Bashi Bookstore. And okay, C11P is here. It's pretty much about her and Maplethorpe. Okay, Just Kids, great book. Thank you, C11P. I love that my 15-year-old is going to concerts with his buddies. Nice, dude. That from Mark Lastman. I'm going backwards here. Tyler, okay, hi Brian. Recentish sub to your channel. Nice, dude. Been diving deep into your videos and live library. Love seeing Tokyo and Japan through your eyes and adventures. Oh, dude, thank you so much. I'm very happy to read that, Tyler. Welcome, and thank you for being here. I'm very blessed to have some really cool opportunities to get to share, and then like really good vibes, like comments like that. I think Tokyo is such a photogenic city, and I don't claim to be good at this format, but I'm just winging it and I'm doing my best. And but thank you for being here. Appreciate it, Tyler. We have a cool kind of kids only. We had cool kids only Discord, which is our, our sort of server where it's curated, and there's value, there's a lot of value that is being added to it, but it's for Tokyo Record Style homies, members, pals who are ponying up with like $2 a month or $5 a month. There's like a couple of different member things. I'm not going to oblige anybody to join, but if you it's not for everybody, but if you can put a coffee towards the channel or whatever, then there's actually, I think, a lot of value you can derive from this really cool Discord that we have going. And we're mindful that it's so precious right now, and it's very, very engaged, and it's actually like a lot of music, a lot of like genuine earnestness and love. It's got a really, really good it's got a really good homey vibe that I wish upon everybody else who's out there in internet land, but I doubt so many people have what's the vibes that are going on. So and I don't mean to make it like transactional or anything like that, but I spend a lot of time working on it, and it's time that I want to do it because I love doing it, and also because I do want to touch more people with it. I do, I am ambitious about it. But I've been ambitious about a lot of different projects that I have, and ambition is a thing that I think people see as a fault. I see it kind of as a strength, but I don't, you know, I don't necessarily do it for. I mean, I've been again like not to just like go off here, but like I've been very, very blessed to learn this lesson that to give is to receive. I've had and I never stuck my neck out for anybody. I had good parents and good schools and good teachers and all this stuff, but I just cheated and charmed my way through, you know, a boulevard of green lights. But it wasn't until the big earthquake that happened here where I think my kind of character really got tested, and I just accidentally stumbled into an effort by no intention of my own, but I learned the value of community in a way that I'd never learned it before, and I learned it through loss, I guess, maybe, and humility, and I was humbled, and I was taught so anyway, and that has just been a kind of life's work for the last 15 years. I'm 50 this year, so since I was 35, I kind of had this big aha moment that, oh, if you live your life this way, then maybe when you get to the end, you'll look back and you'll say, "Oh, that was okay. It was hard, but there was some sparkling moments." And this little world that we're creating online is one of these kind of sparkling moments. It's small and mighty, but it's small, but it's mighty. So, anybody who out there is, like, vibing on the vibe here, and you wanna just, like, plug in a little bit deeper, I'm not even buying records, you know? I'm not even buying music with with the monies. I'm, like, trying to, like, get more, you know, more bells and whistles for this place. I'm actually trying to kind of, like, I love my gig, but I would love to migrate away from it and be of service to this thing. Anyway, but sorry, I got a little sidetracked on that very thoughtful comment from Tyler. So thanks for that, Tyler. Appreciate it. Let me still going backwards. Hey, Brian, I'm reading that Larry Jaffe book too. Okay, I like it so far. A history of Record Store Day and its development. Yeah, cool, Larry Jaffe. All right, we're gonna have to reconvene after you finish yours and I finish mine, and we'll have to have a little chat about it. All right, that's great. C11P. I know your name. I've forgotten your if I c- I'll call you C11P, but if I should call you by something else, let me know. Photo Weenie in the house. What's up? Photo Weenie's a homie. What's up, dude? And we have FYI in our little Discord homie world, Photo Weenie he held the title of the youngest member of the group, and he's a student, post uh secondary level student studying to start get his life going and get a head start on a good looking career, it sounds like, but he's just been usurped by another younger member who's just 14 years old, who recently came on the Tokyo Record Style shuttle service. And anybody who comes on basically anybody who contributes to the channel in any way gets to come and hang out in the Discord. And it again, like, I'm hustling it. I'm selling it now, I admit, but like, uh it's like it's like an accountability thing. It's like it's like, if you pony up $3, then you're gonna be there. You don't want to squander your $3 or your $7. So it's just a kind of way to keep people accountable. And I also have this rule that if you don't stay engaged, if you don't, like, contribute to the system for every 30 days, then I boot you from the Discord. You can ask to come back, and I'll gladly let you back in, but I want people to be engaged. And that was a lesson that I learned from another Discord that I was on, that you had to come and contribute every once in a while. So, anybody who's a member of the channel, who's like a paid member of the channel, they're paying, like, I think, like, I don't know what the numbers are. I forget. I got to go look them up, but it's like 300 yen, which is like less than $2, I think, is one tier. And then there's like the $5 tier, and then there's the $7 tier, and I think there's like the $30 tier. The $30 tier grants you a one-on-one. They all are essentially the same, but one of them grants you a one-on-one meeting, which nobody's actually taken me up on, although several people or a couple of people. How many is it? There's several people who are at that tier, but I'm waiting and encouraging them to take me up on the offer, but nobody has seemed to take to me to task on it yet. But it's a work in progress, and there's also I have a Patreon where all of this content gets put over on the Patreon, some of it without ads and some of it like, I'm just like throwing spaghetti at the wall. So anybody who's contributing to that, anybody who has come on the Tokyo Record Style shuttle service that I offer. I have a big tour service that's sort of a high ticket offering that requires, like, as a person who I work as a professional photographer and as a person who like provides entire multiple days of pre-production, day of production, post-production, understands like how to bill a project like that. It's not a cheap ticket kind of deal, and anybody who comes on the Tokyo Record Style service gets access to the Discord, and also anybody who just is like sends some VCLT along or asks. Essentially, you can ask and you shall receive, basically. But we're mindful that it's like I don't like it'll stop being fun if it's like 100 people hanging out in there. Right now it's like there's like 20 plus people in there, but only like 10 and a half of them are like super engaged. Everybody's engaged, but 10 of them are like every day I can't keep up with all the comments. So it's really, you know, it's small, but it won't be fun if there's 50 people in there. So, and I'll tell you, it's not about Tokyo and it's not about me. It's about us. And for that reason, I don't call it Tokyo Record Style. I call it Record Style. And that's the name of our server, the Record Style server. And you can have Toronto Record Style, or you can have whatever record style. We're unified by a simple thing, but it's not about Tokyo. I happen to be broadcasting from Tokyo and have a loud voice from Tokyo, but hold on, let me look at this. I see some. Oh, Breakfast King Lil in the house. Photo Winnie. Wow, 14 years old. Older than I'm 14 years older than them. Okay, so there you go. Our youngest member is 14. Our next youngest member is 28. Um, and then Breakfast King of Loyal says, and I'm 14 years older than you. And there's somebody else who's 14 years older than Breakfast King of Loyola. So it's a nice spread of people. And it's very, very non-snarky, non-judgy, it's very, like, it's a very kind and gentle place, as one might. Gotta jump off. Okay, take off, dude. Thank you for saying hi, Tyler. It's good to meet you, dude. And thanks for the prompt for letting me go off there. Dog. Wait a second. Is Dog here? Is Grateful Dogs in the house? Are you dog? Do I get a dog? Hey, Breakfast Game. What's up, dog? Dude, you're killing it. Keep the content coming. We appreciate you. That's just like we appreciate it. We appreciate you. It's like the little detail, That's like that's wonderful, sweet, kind comment. Thank you very much, C11P. Strength in numbers in times of trial. Yo, yeah, man. All right. Stoked to see you guys here. Y'all should jump on the Tokyo Rec TRS bus. Well worth the trip. LOL. Cheers, man. TRS 80 Model 3 was my first computer. Oh, interesting. TRS. I think, didn't TR. Isn't there like an MG? Isn't there like a Triumph? Didn't they have like a TRS? What was there? TR80, TR. What are the little Triumph Roadsters called? Man, I love those cars. TR3, I think TR3. And I think there's the TR1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think the 3 is the one that I like. It had like, I love that car. A little red convertible one. It's got like, maybe it's got a 6-cylinder, but straight 6-cylinder or something like that. Probably a hoot to drive. Oh my gosh. Okay. There was one more thing I was gonna riff on. What was it? I forgot what it was. Okay, so my wife got to watch the news on the TV, make breakfast, brush her teeth. I don't know what she does, but I just know that when she comes home at the end of her day, there's little people already there waiting for it. So she doesn't have so many moments to have the house just to herself. And when I go home, I got like 30 minutes or 45 minutes to kill before I need to leave for my thing. So just to give her a little bit of space, this is what I do every morning is that I just riff for 30 or 40 minutes online and kind of make my way slowly back home, and then when I roll up, she's just boogied off to her gig. So, yeah, if you want, and I do this every day, except I just do it to the homies, to the pals, to the buds. And yeah, you should come hang out with us. It's kind of like it also makes it like I think you know, I I think positivity is a choice you make every day, and I don't make it every day. In fact, I have to be pretty conscious to make it when I do. But it's a choice that you make every day, I'm convinced. And I think a lot of people, it seeing somebody making that choice, like it invalidates their depression or misery. And so they don't like to see that. Because it, like I said, it invalidates them. And they they don't want to see somebody choosing positivity because they're jealous and they wish that they could choose positivity, but they're so hung up on their own shortcomings and faults that they can't choose positivity. They choose negativity. And people who are choosing positivity, are consciously trying to lift people up, lift themselves up and lift other people up with them as they do, even though they fail a lot or most of the time. They become targets for these like miserable people. They become like trolley targets, and I've collected a whole mess of them, and I just pity them. I luckily they've like mostly left me alone for a while, but like I I just pity these poor people who, you know, they're so insecure about their situation that their only comfort is like, trying to knock people down to where they are. And I have a lot of platitudes that I tell myself and a lot of like reminders that, oh my God, no, 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 this is not about you. This has nothing to do with you. This is all about them. But that's one of the reasons that I've opted to go for the private stream system a little bit more, because there's none of that on there. It's nothing, and it's just, and the people who are there, they're also the people who like don't want to get distracted by that kind of stuff. We all of the conversation that we have is constructive, it's progressive. It's not progressive. It's just um it's like it's push it's it's just cool. It's just, pushing the ideas forward and lifting others up and challenging and interesting, and like there's debate, but there's no disrespect. So the private stream is more conducive of that because anybody who ponies up, like they just, everybody's just on the level. So that's why I do it. And I didn't think it would be something that I would do. I didn't think it would be like a good fit. And there's something kind of like, there's something a little bit like, there's like 10 of you or 12 of you, or And then, but after you, and you're like, well, why are there like 100 of us or 500 of us? And like, you get over that. And then you like, I'm always spread entirely too wide and far. And it's nice to have something that's like, narrow and deep with this particular community. And I cherish it for that reason. So I am not at all thinking about it, but I'm not at all thinking about it in terms of it needs to be, a big thing, but there's room for others. So I want to invite you to come and hang out because we have like we're not quite games, but we have things that are like we've got book club or like book. We have a book channel. We have like we can geek out on gear. We have this thing that we do every 2 weeks called Top Five Records. And people get really personal about how they came to know a record and the story behind why it's important to them, and they share it in these forums because they're safe. That's like a safe little forum to share them. And it's not like, and we're not talking shit about anybody because who can be bothered to talk shit about, it's like what's that old kotowaza, what's that old proverb, like people who like interesting people talk about ideas and shallow people talk about others, something like that, one of those things. We're not talking about others. So, yeah. So music, today's music. Oh, there's one more more. I'll close it. I started with Ween. I'll end on Ween here too. Ween just announced that they're also releasing the 30th anniversary of, I never say it right. 12 country classics. 12 golden country classics. 12 golden country hits. I just call it 12. I call it 12 country classics, but that's not the name of the record. But it's got all those amazing songs that they did. They made a country album with like proper Nashville sessions players, and it's great. It's like it's fantastic. It's super good. And it's got like a Japanese cowboy or a brother on skates, like a blizzard in Georgia or a train running late. I call out your name, girl, in the heat of the night, and nobody answers. The feeling ain't right. It's got this real twangy songs and like it's earnest. There are a couple of there's you can piss up a rope and you can feel the pissy dribble. Da, 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 da. Pack your bags. I don't need the eggs on your big. There's a little bit of ghetto boy element to it, but it's country. It's a country record, and they're releasing like they did with Chocolate and Cheese. They're releasing a 3-box set. It's on their website if you care about it, and it's got a lot of outtakes and unheard songs from those sessions, which I'm very interested to hear. And there's a black version and a powder blue because one of the songs on the album is called Powder Blue, and there's a powder blue version, and it's like on sale for pre-order. And I went ahead and um, pulled the trigger on it, even though I really shouldn't have. I just was like, yeah, I got it. I want to have this. I want to listen to this. It's fun. If you haven't heard the Ween Country record, well worth checking out. Okay. Um, Thank you for your attention. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for being here. Oh, grass. Of course you didn't, you punk. Of course you didn't. You're too entrenched in your punky ways. You need to join the hipster side. Join the hippie side a little more. Get your country, get your banjo on with me, buddy. Hold on, I gotta read Grass's comment. Grass is a diehard Ween fan, which kind of is what binds me and him together a little bit, among other things. But we both love the band, and I gotta get out of here. But hold on, let me just read this comment and then I'll go. He didn't like 12 country classics? What's wrong with you? Don't tell anybody you don't like 12 country classics, that's criminal. Hold on, what do you see what it says here? Okay. Oh, Infidelity stopped by. Gotta go. Okay. Lionel Vinyl took off. I love your streams. It's fun and comforting. Oh, cheers, dude. Infidelity in the house. What's up, Infidelity? Nice to see you, dude. Infidelity is on the Discord. Ween Country box set I heard. Okay. I didn't like the country record until okay, until I saw that tour. I'll post the interview from Much Music. I'm sitting behind them in the studio. Oh, cool. Okay. All right. So you came around eventually. I know you've got some cowboy Curtis, some cowboy in you. Is Toronto considered Midwestern? Is it considered Western at all? I know I always like find that a little bit confounding that like Ohio is like the Midwest. There's nothing Western about Ohio whatsoever. But still, we're all Western in a way, you know, all of us New World folk. So it's a good record. There's one tune on it I love. There's one song. How's it go? It's you were the fool. Well, you were the fool. It's the least country of all the tunes. Toronto has Blue Rodeo. Okay, does that count? Yes, that counts. That definitely counts. Yeah, yeah. God bless the West. All right, guys. Hit the like button if you wouldn't mind. I would most appreciate it. Watch me on double time anytime I'm ever on. I think I'm much more tolerable in double time or even triple time. So I really salute anybody who watches me live because I'm sludgy on in real time, but I'm tolerable at double speed. So I should always say that at the beginning of the stream in case you're watching it on a replay. Watch me on double time. I hope that's a pro tip, a super hint. Okay, I'll see. Yeah, tomorrow I do it again, and the next day again, and then we have a day break. Sunday's a break, and then we go again on Monday. So if you want to come hang out, hang out. All right. And if you want a Tokyo Record Style letter in the mail or a sticker, then send me a DM and let me know your address, and I'll put one in the mail for you. All right, guys. See you on the next vid. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.